Hello students. Now in computer network, we are going to start our chapter number 2, that is network models. In this chapter, we discuss the idea of network model. Mainly, two models have been devised to define computer network operations. One is the OSI model, and the second is TCP/IP protocol suite. TCP/IP protocol suite. We'll discuss these two models in this chapter in a very detailed manner. Okay. Before going to start this models, first of all, we will discuss about the basic concepts or the idea behind these models. Now, in the OSI model, we'll discuss about the working of the OSI model and why we need OSI model and how the organization ISO defined the OSI model. First of all, the network architecture. Network architecture is means the word architecture means defining the working or the model of something, how the task is implemented in that model. Okay, same way here, the network architecture defines the standards and the technique for designing and building communication systems for computers and the other devices. Okay, why we need network architecture? Because in the past, vendors developed their own architectures and required that the other vendor also confirm this architecture if they wanted to develop the compatible hardware and the softwares. Because before the OSI model, there is not as any standard type of a model to define the network devices or manufacturing the computer network type of devices. Every vendor makes their own architecture and develop the device. Okay, and mainly the softwares are also not into the picture at that time. The software, the OSI model is comes into picture in 1980s. After that, network architecture is defined, and every vendor will follow this architecture to define or to develop any type of computer network system or any type of devices related to networking. Okay, so this network architecture main motto is to define the layers. Layers means to reduce the design complexities. Design complexities. Complexities are faced by the manufacturers or the vendors. Mainly, they organized the networks as a series of layers. Layers, or you can say the layer. Here, the term layer come into pictures. Each one built upon one below it. Layers are coming to concept where this is ith layer, then this is the I plus 1th layer, and this is the I minus 1th layer. This way we defines the or divide the task complexities or design complexities into the layers. What are the main benefits of these layers? First benefit is the modularity. Modularity means you can say this modularity ensures the independency of the layer. Means the services provided the layer ith to the upper layer I plus 1 and take services from the layer below it I minus 1th. So they have no any type of dependency. The layers are independent of each other. The implementation of each layers can be changed or modified without affecting the other layers. This is the main benefit of this layered mode concept. Layered concept. Second thing is here clear interfaces. I will discuss this clear interfaces in the discussion of next topic. Okay. Mainly, what are the basic elements? Basic elements. Elements means what type of things we will provide into these layers. First thing is the services. Services means you can say set of actions a layer provide to the upper layer and take from the upper layer. If there's some data is passed from the I minus 1th layer to the ith layer, what type of actions the layer I will take on that data? Okay, what type of you can say services or are actually implemented on that object. Okay. Second thing is protocols. Protocols means you can say the rules that a layer uses to exchange information with the peer entity. Peer entity means when this is your sender, I will discuss this one later also. This is the receiver. When they communicate, here this layer and here this one is also using the same layer. So we call that layers or called peers. We call these are peer entities. Okay, means opposite computer same layers or identical layers are called peers. The rules concerns both the content and the order of messages are used in these peers are identicals. Okay, and the third thing is interfaces. Interfaces are need to be defined between these layers to using the services, because the messages from one layer sent to another are through those interfaces. Between these layers we need to define interfaces interface between layer I and I plus 1, interface between layer I and I minus 1. So these are the things we need for the implementation of these layers. And how these are implemented, how they are divided, how the services are used between these layers. Now we will discuss this into some concepts. Now the basic protocol layering. Here protocol layering is the name given to define these layers having the services and protocols. Protocol layering means divide a complex task into several simpler tasks and the independent layer. Why we call this as a protocol layering? In the last chapter, chapter number 1, we discussed about the protocols. Protocols are the rules used for the communication or the exchange of information between the systems. When the communication is simple, we need a little bit protocols, means one or two protocols. But when the communication is complex, we need to use more than one protocol or more protocols, means maybe 10 protocol, 15 protocol or 20 protocols. So that time we need to divide the task into different layers and place these protocols into the layers, means according to their working we set up these protocols into the layers. Okay, which case we need a protocol at each layer or protocol layering. Now what is a layer? A layer is a box having inputs and outputs, and without concerning how a input is converted or changed to the output. Means here this is a kth layer, this is a layer, and this layer is a box. Take input from both, take input from the lower layer also, the k minus 1th layer also, and take input from the upper layer k plus 1th layer also, and change these inputs into the corresponding outputs according to the implementation of protocol or the services it provides to the upper layer or the below layers. Okay, means we can say the protocol layer enable us to divide the tasks into the boxes, or you can say the objects which implement the similar type of functions. Now a layer receives a services set of services from the lower layer and gives services to the upper layer. We don't know how the layer is implemented. Here the k minus 1th layer receives services from the k minus 1th layer, and this kth layer provides services to the k plus 1th layer. This way, the services are transferred between the layers. Now, this is a simple concept of the layered architecture. But when these layers are come into picture between two communication systems, between two computers, when they communicate. So some simple type of rules we need, or you can say we need some type of protocols or principles we need. So we will discuss these principles. Mainly, when we make any architecture, and that architecture contain a number of layers, one layer, two layer, three layers. So same way, Any architecture we call as a n-layered architecture. We call that as a n-layered architecture. Okay, here this is a sender machine and this is the receiver machine. This is the receiver machine. Sender machine also have these three layers and receiver machine also have these three layers. Means this is a three-layered architecture. Okay, layer n on one machine carries on conversation with the layer on the other machine. Means here this layer number 3 is communicate with the layer number 3 of the receiver, and here there is a logical connection between them. Logical connection means the sender number layer 3, system layer number 3, and the receiver system layer number 3 both are logically connected. Means they think they have an imaginary connection between them and they are talking directly with each other. They are talking directly with each other. Same way, layer 2 and at the center machine and the layer 2 and the receiver machine also have logical connection between them. Logical connection means imaginary connections, and we call this communication as a layer to layer communication or the peer to peer communication or the peer to peer communication. Here the term peer is used for the layer word. What layer? So what type of principles we need when we provide a bidirectional type of communication? Means a bidirectional communication, we need mainly two principles for define any type of architecture or any type of model. First is the corresponding layers should be identical. The corresponding layers should be identical. Corresponding layers should be identical means here in the sender side, if layer 3 is doing listen and task, at the receiver side also the layer number 3 will do what? Listen and task. Okay. Here, if the layer number 2 is encrypting and decrypting, here also doing encrypting and decrypting. Okay, identical layers. Here, the second thing in this same principle, principle number 1, if layer number 3 is making the plain text and providing this plain text to the layer number 2, at the same side, receiver side also, opposite side also, layer number 3 will generate the plain text and give this plain text to the layer number 2. Here the layer number 2 is making the cipher text. Okay, both sides means have the same object, identical objects also. Okay, then here also cipher text. Here layer number 3 is giving this as a mail, then here also giving the as a mail. Okay, means they layers are identical. The layers are identical. Okay, then we can say this layered architecture or the computer networks or the network devices will work with the same architecture or manufactured with the same architecture. Now the second principles come into picture. Second principle, principle number 2 is saying each layer needs to have two opposite tasks. Means two opposite tasks in one in each direction. Here it is saying means at the sender side and at the receiver side, if layer number 3 is talking in one direction, then this one will listen in the other direction. If sender send a message to the receiver, here this one is talking means sending the message to the receiver, and here the receiver will accepting this message. If this one is saying talk at the layer number 3, then here at the layer number 3 the receiver will listen that message. Means tasks in the opposite direction, one in each direction, two opposite tasks. Here layer number 2, if the message is encrypted at the sender side, the message is decrypting at the receiver side. Here this one sender side, if we send a mail, then receiver side this one receive a mail. Means each layer needs to have two opposite tasks, one in each direction. one in each direction. This is the main motto of the second principle. Second principle. Okay, these are the two principles for protocol layering. Means how we define a layer, what type of services we need between the layers, how the logical connection between the layers is working, and what type of opposite tasks a layer need to do for the reliable communication. Okay. The third point here I will discuss in this here also, that is interfaces. That is interfaces. The interfaces. Between each pair of adjacent layer, there is an interface. Between this layer number 2 and layer number 3, interface. Here, between layer 1 and 2, there is an interface. Between the physical media and the layer number 1, there is an interface. This is the physical media. This is a physical media, or you can say the channel or the transmission media through which we send a mail to the receiver. Okay. Interfaces, we need to define clear interfaces, or you can say the clean interfaces between the layers. Why? Because we need three type of things from these interfaces. First thing is, each layer should perform a well-defined functions. Well-defined functions. As already we define, a layer is a collection or a group of similar type of functions. So it is clearly defined that the layer is a group of functions, means layer number 1 and layer number 2. Layer number 1 is providing input to the layer number 2, and that layer number 2 will implement or take action on the object that is coming from the layer number 1. So that interface between 1 and 2 is a clear interface. Means it provides the data object from the layer 1 to layer number 2 in a clean manner. Second is minimum amount of information, minimum amount of information passed between the layers, means passed between layers. Minimum amount means if you send a large amount of data at a layer, that layers get confused, or some type of services will not work on that one. So we need to define a data size. What size of data is transferred between these layers through the interfaces. Third point is clean cut interfaces. Clean cut interface means if we do any change in any one layer, that change not affect the other layers. Means if you want to change the encryption and decryption algorithm at layer number 2, that encryption and decryption algorithm will not affect the layer number 3 and layer number 1. Means because the implementation of that encryption decryption algorithm is only at the layer number 2, and that one have a complete replacement from the different algorithm. So that different implementation not affect the working of layer number 3 and the working of layer number 1. Means interfaces are defined in this way. They any change of any protocol or service at any layer will not affect the working of the below layer and the above layer. So that's why we need to define the clean interfaces. Clean interfaces. And on the basis of these things, means these principles and these basic elements, our network models or you can say the network architectures are defined by the organizations. Okay, means you can say here a set of layers, a set of layers and protocols is known as network architecture. Network architecture. Set of layers having services, protocol, and interfaces between them. And protocols means rules to communicate between the different sources or between different devices or nodes. On the basis of these things, we can say an network architecture means different layers with their protocols, with their services, with their clear interfaces. And on the basis of these principles, our network models or network architectures are defined. That we are going to discuss Okay. First of all, we will discuss about the OSI model. First of all, we will discuss about OSI model. After that, we will discuss about our second protocol, that is our TCP/IP protocol suite. Okay, let's go for the OSI model. OSI model. The full form of OSI model is the Open System Interconnect. Open System Interconnect. Open System Interconnect. OSI reference model is a model that is developed in 1984 by ISO. ISO is an international organization for standards. International Organization for Standards, that ISO developed the OSI reference model, which allowed diverse system to communicate. Diverse system means that is not a single type of, means you can change any layer at any layer with your requirements. Means that may be an informal, any type of thing you can. Diverse system means change is possible. Change is possible. Okay. Here, one thing is need to remember about the student. ISO is an organization and OSI is the reference model. OSI is the reference model. Sometimes students get confused about the word OSI and ISO. ISO is an organization who developed the OSI model. Okay. Why we need OSI model? Because for the reliable communication between two systems, we need more than 70 functionalities. We need more than 70 functionalities, and to provide all these functionalities is a very complex task, because already I told you, when the communication is complex, we need to divide the things into layers, or the task into simple things. So protocol layering is help here to develop our OSI model. Means divide these more than 70 functionalities into the layers and makes the communication simple as possible. So protocol layering helps us to divide the complex task into smaller and simpler tasks. Means more than 70 functionalities, and these 70 functionalities are divided into layers. And from here, the definition of layers comes a layer is a collection of conceptually similar functions, or you can say group of similar type of tasks. Similar types of tasks. Okay, means we divide these functionalities into layers and set or place some functionalities or protocol into these layers. Means you can say this is the main functionality of this layer, or this protocol will implement only on this layer. Okay, according to their functionality and according to their services or working, and that one gives us a model that is called an OSI model, and that model helps us to provide a reliable communication. Okay, as here also OSI model provides us a set of design standards for equipment manufacturers also, because the vendors or manufacturers have a clear cut architecture. You need to follow that architecture to define your network or devices. Means it is a basic guideline for protocol developments. Okay, protocol developments. So this is an OSI model. We will discuss the layers, their functionalities, their working one by one. Let's go. Layered architecture. OSI model is composed of 7 layers. Here we have 7 layers. These 7 layers are: layer 1 is the physical layer, layer number 2 data link layer, layer number 3 network layer, 4 transport layer, 5 session layer, 6 presentation layer, and 7th is the application layer. And here the user is placed here, and user will interact, user interaction with the application layer, user interaction with the application layer. Okay, these layers are organized in this way. The above 3 layers, application, presentation, and session layer, are called host layers, or you can say the user support layer, because the responsibilities of these layers are based on the hosts. Host means they allow interoperability among the users or among the software systems. Okay, these are responsibility of the user. Responsibility of user. And this layer number one, physical layer, layer number two, data link layer, layer number three layers are called the media layers or the network layers. And here they have the responsibility of network. Responsibility of network means they are mainly interact with the physical media. Below this, our networks are defined. The cables, or you can say the wireless communication means the radio waves or infrared waves are coming to pictures. Physical medias are coming to pictures. So these three layers, layer number one, physical, data link, and network layers are called the network support layers or the media layers because they deal with the physical aspects of moving data from one device to the another device. Okay, they using the functions like addressing type of system, physical connection type of system thing functions, and the transport timing and the reliable error-free communication between things. And here the layer number four is act as a transport layer. This transport layer mainly link these two subgroups and provide the functions how the media layers data is transport to the above user support layers and how the user support layer data is transferred to the media support layer. This one is act as a transporter between these two groups. Okay, means what the lower level layers have transmitted in a form that the upper layers can use, or the upper layers have transmitted in a form that the lower layers will use. These are the main organizations of these seven layers of the OSI model. Okay. Now let's discuss some of the important topics related to these layers. First thing is protocol data unit. Protocol data unit is the names of the data packets. Names of the data packets at different layers means at the different layers what we call the data package. Okay, here at the layer number session layer, presentation layer, and the application layer, we call the data packet as a message, or here we also call this one with the name of data. And the size of this data may be of any size. Okay, there is no limit on this size. This application layer will provide the any size of packet to the below layer. Here, these layers will provide any size of data to this below layer transport layer. And here, this transport layer will divide this message into segments. Here, transport layer we will call the data object as a segment. And the size of this segment is 2 to power 16 minus transport layer header size into bytes. Means here we divide this packet or message into the segments. And the size of the segments is called 2 to power 16 minus transport layer header size. Header means when we are transporting or this data to the below layers means the media layers, we will call add some type of information, additional information with that packet, and that additional information also needs some size or some bytes of data. So that information is encapsulated in the headers. Okay, and at the network layer, we will call the PDU as a datagram or packet, and the size of this packet is 2 to power 16 bytes. 2 to power 16 bytes means 65,535 bytes. 35 bytes. This is a fixed size. Means at the network layer, the size of the packet is 65,535 bytes. Not more than this. Maybe less than this is possible, but not more than this. Okay. And at the data link layer, we will divide this datagram or packet into frames. Packets into frames. And the size of the frames are 1500 bytes. And this is the standard size for the Ethernet technology. Because at the data link layer, the LAN technologies are coming to pictures, and these LAN technologies are not able to transfer the data of big size, a packet of big size. So that's why we divide the network layer packets into the smaller frames, and the size of a frame is 1500 in the Ethernet technologies. Okay, in different technologies the size is different, and the ATM the size is different, at the in the token ring the size is different. Here I use the Ethernet size, that is the standard tech line technology Ethernet, and the size of the frame is 1500 bytes. And at the physical layer we convert or we represent the data or frames into the stream of bits, stream of zeros and ones. Means we convert this one in the form of zeros, ones at the physical layer, and we transfer this bit stream of bits to the physical media or the transmission media one by one. Okay, these are the PDUs at the different layers in the OSI model, and the size of these PDUs at the different layers. At the transport layer, data link layer, and the network layer, the size is fixed size. The size are fixed size. Means more than this size is not possible. A packet or an object can have size less than this is possible. Okay, so many questions are asked in different exams, maybe in the NET exam, UGC NET exam, ISRO, NILAT, or some TET exams. The questions are directly asked on the basis of PDU. What is the name of PDU at the transport layer? What is the size of a datagram at the network layer? This type of questions are possible in different exams. Okay, and these are also helpful in the working of these layers, how we transfer a network layer packet between the adjacent devices or the nodes, how we encapsulate data into the lower layer packets or the frame. Okay, these type of things are coming to pictures when we will discuss about the layers. Next is encapsulation and decapsulation. Encapsulation and decapsulation means, encapsulation means we will packing something in any object or any box. Decapsulation means we are making out of that something from the wrapper or something, or we will pick anything from the packet or any box. Encapsulation is done at the sender site. For example, this is our sender machine, and we want to send a message to this receiver machine. Encapsulation is done at the source host, or you can say the source node or the source machine, and decapsulation is done at the destination host or the destination machine. What is the main thing is, this is the user computer, and this user computer sends some data to the application layer. We will call this D7, or I will representing this one with the DX. DX means data at a layer, data at the layer. And we also call this one with a different word, that is called payload of that layer. Payload at that layer. Okay, and here this H7, H6, or we call this one HX as the header of the layer. Header of the layer. Here, the data from this sender machine pass to the seventh layer, application layer. This is presentation layer, this is session layer, transport layer, network layer, data link layer, and this is the physical layers. Same here, this is the application layer, presentation layer, session layer, transport layer, network layer, data link layer, and the physical layer. The data passed from the application using the user is using is comes at the D7, the application layer, and that is data layer. And at the application layer, we add some header information. Header information means which type of services we are using. Means when you are using any transferring any file, means you are using FTP protocol. If you are sending any email, then you are using SMTP protocol. If you are receiving a mail, you are using POP protocol or the IMAP4 protocol. If you are doing any telecommunication, you are using telnet protocol. So this type of services, what type of application service you are using, that information is in the present in the header. When the packet is passed to the transport layer, this upcoming packet The application layer package is the complete, or we call this one as a payload here. We will call this one as the payload here. Okay, payload. We call this one as a payload here. And at the presentation layer also we add some header information in this one. Encapsulating means we are packing the data into the boxes. You can say we are packing the original user data into the boxes, and that boxes contain the headers in slip on that one, and that slips contain the informations related to the different layers. Okay, information different layers, and this one is passed to the session layer, and at the session layer the above layer package is called as a payload and added the information. In the same way, these all layers up to the network layer we will add in headers, and when the packet come at the data link layer we will add header as well as tailor. Only at the data link layer we add tailor, okay, to any frame, okay. And at the physical layer these all are converted into the stream of bits, and these bits are passing through this transmission media to the receiver one by one in the form of signals, in the form of signals, okay. And the receiver will receive this stream of bits, means these objects, and at the physical layer this information is passed above layer, data link layer. At the above layer we will remove this tailor and this header from the frame and pass this payload to the upper network layer. And at the network layer also we remove this header and pass this payload as a segment to the transport layer. At the segment transport layer, we remove this header and pass this as a message to the above session layer. At the session layer also, we remove this header and pass this as a payload to the above layer, presentation layer, and at the presentation layer we also remove header, and same as it is at the application layer we remove header, and the user will get the actual data that is passed from this user to. So means adding header information to a packet at the sender side is called the encapsulation, and removing header information and tailor information at the sender side is called the decapsulation of the data packets. Encapsulation is done at the sender host or sender side, and decapsulation is done at the receiver side. This is the main encapsulation and decapsulation of any type of package. And at the different layers, we will call the data objects with different name called the PDUs, and the size of PDUs are defined on these layers. Okay, this is the basic idea behind the net OSI model and the layers. Now, in the coming video, we will discuss these each layer in a very descriptive manner. Why we need this layer? What are the functionalities or services provided by this layer?